Okay, so there's something that I'm starting to get tired of. I keep seeing people say, well, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling bad about this. This is going on. Um, I just got to find out what's wrong with me. Such and such diagnosis, whatever. Different doctors tell me the same thing. I just got to find out what's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. The diagnosis thing, I disagree with that. This is just my opinion, but I'm telling you, people keep trying to find out, okay, what's wrong with me? What's my No, 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 no. The question is not what's wrong with you. The question is what happened. Somebody that's, really struggling like that with any kind of mental health or um, PTSD of any kind, that comes from something that went wrong that was done to you that you're still holding on to because you haven't had any help getting it sorted out. You still got to get it sorted out or you're going to be unhappy, but what I mean is it's not, look at therapy and psychology and all that kind of stuff, for however long. Their big question when they sit somebody down has always been, okay, let's find out what's wrong with you. You're not wrong. Let's just get that out of the way. You're not wrong. You're not wrong for feeling the way you feel. You're not wrong for feeling upset. That's not it. That's not the issue. The issue is, let's see what happened to you way back in the beginning or at some point in your life before now that, for lack of a better way to put it, screwed you up and confused you or hurt you and made you think that your life was going to be a certain way. It doesn't have to be that way. But I wish people would drop that, I got to find out what's wrong with this person or what's wrong with me. You're not wrong. You're having emotions that are a result of some shit that was done to you by somebody who was either being selfish or didn't know what they were doing or whatever. And, unfortunately, you're kind of dealing with the repercussions of that, but you can get past it. But I would say change the mindset first because the way you look at something is going to dictate how the rest of that shit plays out forever. So, it's hard for me to hear people keep saying, I've been to however many doctors, each one's telling me something different, been in the hospital. Um, Somebody used the phrase grippy sock vacation. Well, as many times as I've been in the hospital trying to, I should have known that phrase. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know that phrase. I was like, grippy sock vacation? What? Oh, so it's whatever. But um, so anyway, but I saw that, and I got to find out what's wrong with me. One doctor's telling me PTSD, the other one's telling me bipolar and something or other personality disorder and blah blah blah. You know what? I was told I had a personality disorder too. I had an Air Force officer tell me that when I was in the Army. Pissed me the fuck off. Pissed me off so bad I was boiling. I was already pissed because I was there in the hospital. But I mean, wow, that's a long story. I'll get to that some other time. But he sat my little ass down and told me that I had a personality disorder. He was like, well, and I said, and I was offended by that. And I said, in the gentle words of Mother Mary, come again. And he was like, well, he saw I was getting angry. Like I was raging. And he said, well, no, relax. It's not really that bad. Everybody's got one. Everybody has this. And that right there, when a doctor tells you that, it's just my opinion, but when they pop up and say, oh, well, no, don't worry about it. Everybody's got that. First of all, how do you know that if everyone's got it? How do you know it's an illness? What's wrong with you? But that's like saying, okay, everybody's got brown hair. Well, that's all right. Don't worry about it. It is a defect, but we've all got it. So, don't stress that. I. So anyway, that's just kind of dumb. But I've heard some bullshit from doctors. I really have, and I was just trying to off myself because I didn't want to live anymore, and uh, didn't have any. I couldn't see my power. And because I had let so many motherfuckers convince me I didn't have it. I let them convince me I didn't have it. I listened to them instead of myself. And the reason I listened to other people is because growing up, I wasn't taught anything about how to see my own strengths, or how to see, my own capabilities, and that I could do things and I didn't need other people to approve of me or whatever the fuck, but I didn't have that guidance at home. So I grew up thinking, okay, I better make sure everybody fucking likes me. And women are bad about that in general, regardless, no matter what they say. So I was bound, there was a good chance I was bound to have some of that anyway, but it was bad for me. When I was really bad about that. But, and when I saw, so many people, and here's another problem. There are so many people who do see your power, and some of those motherfuckers realize, because they're intuitive, but they're also manipulators. Like, they're intuitive, but they use it for their own purposes. And they'd be unbelievable healers if they would just get over themselves. But there are people who are very intuitive and very selfish with that, and they will twist you into knots, and they can smell that you don't have any confidence and that you've never had any help with that. They can smell it, and they will see your power that you obviously have, and they know you have it. They'll pick that out. They'll be like, oh, okay, this bitch could probably do anything if they just put their mind to it. I'm gonna put a stop to that because I want to be in control, and it makes me feel good because they're losers, and and they haven't sorted themselves out. And they will just twist you up like a pretzel, and that's out of jealousy and feeling threatened, and seeing that you've got a lot of personal power that you don't realize you have, and they're just going to jump on it. It's real stupid what people do. It really is. I've got countless stories of people trying to do that to me, especially women. Well, the boyfriends were bad too. They were rough, but a lot of women have just tried to ruin me over God knows what. Like, I never knew what was wrong. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. But the I gotta find out what's wrong with me thing, let's just skip it. Let's skip that. Let's just skip right over that, because that's not what the deal is. The issue is something happened to you. Somebody did something to you, and it convinced you of how your reality was going to be, and you stuck with that because that was what you were taught, and that's what you were shown, and that's the example that was set for you, and you didn't know because you're probably 5 or 10 or whatever, and it sank in, and you weren't around anybody who had the sense to teach you better. So that way, when you're 30 or 45 or whatever, and you're still struggling with something that no one's had the wherewithal to be able to help you with, because you think things are supposed to be a certain way because of something that happened, and the doctor's like, all right, all these outdated doctors that are still doing the Freudian bullshit or whatever they're using now, whatever they're still using, that's not helpful. It's not practical. It's not helpful. So I just think it would be smarter and more intuitive to ask, what happened? Or if somebody says, because I had problems with being abandoned and stuff like that. Now, at times, after a certain point, it had toughened me up to the point where I didn't care who bounced out of my life. Like, because I thought, you know what, I can get on without you. I'm used to that. Bye. And it would never scare me. Breakups and shit didn't scare me. Losing friends didn't scare me. Like, none of that bothered me because I was used to that. I was used to being used and just kind of tossed aside sometimes. And it was either that, or if I did the breakup, it was impossible to get rid of them. It was absolutely impossible. Now, in my defense, keep in mind, this is back when I looked like a model. So I've lost that. But there was a time when I left the house and turned every head, and that was when it was hard to get rid of somebody after I broke up with them. But it's whatever. But it was a while ago. But that's usually what the kind of shit that happened. It was of that, or they would just ditch me and teach me that I wasn't worth having around, wasn't important, didn't have any value, blah blah blah. And somebody who's not taught any better than that isn't going to know any better. So when somebody says, okay, well, you've got such and such diagnosis, this is what's wrong with you, I disagree. Someone did some shit to you, and it messed up your mind a little bit, and you've had to deal with it because no one's had the capability or the insight or whatever to help you out with it. Or you haven't known where to go for help. That's what the issue is, not, okay, let's find out your diagnosis and, get the right pills to you and see how you do. That makes me sick. So I just wanted to say that. I mean, I want people to be able to look into themselves, figure out what happened to them, what their first reaction was to that, how it made them feel, and how it sank in, and how it has carried out like through the rest of their life. Because there's a reason for why you do the things you do. Well, one time when I was little, blah, blah, blah. So, but people will laugh at that. But I don't think it's funny because you're, 40 years old and you're still, you're still doing it. I don't like that. I want people to be able to sort that shit out and breathe and live, and have the life they're supposed to have. So I'm a big believer in digging into the past and sorting shit out, because you can't let that shit rule your present. And that's not fair. That's not fair on you. So I just want to say that because I've seen so many people say, oh, well, I'm just trying to find out what's wrong with me. That's the wrong way to go. That's just my opinion, but I don't like that. So I just wanted to say that. But anyway, thanks for listening. And I'll catch you next time.